David Barnard and Scott Lansing have a documentary here. It's one of the most timely things we can talk about in this political climate. Trigger, the effect of gun violence. You're looking for middle ground in this film. How do you go about sort of walking that tightrope with something like this?
I think the first step that we tried to do was humanize the issue, meaning tell that human story that's there. Every day we see, just in Atlanta there was 4 or 5 shootings in one day the other day. And I think, you become numb to it to a certain point. It's like, it's just another shooting. But through this process and through interviewing people, what we did was interview the people that are most impacted. So we interviewed families. We interviewed ER surgeons that see it every day in the ER, chaplains in the hospitals, police officers that are seeing it every day, and try to tell that human story. Because, what it comes down to is when I do hear about a shooting now, I think of that mother that lost her son. I think of that chaplain in the ER that's doing the prayers for the family. I think of the police officers who are coming home at night, exhausted from seeing the violence and the gun violence that they're seeing every day.
We live in a culture where some people would call Sandy Hook a hoax, so it's touchy stuff. Scott, what are the challenges of shooting this?
It was kind of a learning shoot. It was one of the first shoots that I did with Dave, and to be in different parts of the city, to be in Southeast DC in the same day, where it has some of the highest homicide rates in the country, and then to be going to Congress and be up there talking to representatives. It's surreal. There's to be at the ER and see, Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. you have somebody coming in on a stretcher. These are times you wouldn't expect. That hospital is right. It's right near the military base. It's a very surreal reality. Like a good part of this was shot in DC. So it was definitely a learning experience, and it was a challenging shoot. We were shooting in some rough areas, and it was very much a learning curve to spend time with mothers who had lost children to that violence.
What was the impetus for this film? What made you do it?
The Presbyterian Church has a special team that they deploy for shootings. They're looking at gun violence as a disaster and responding to it like a disaster. So they have a team of guys who have not only been through shootings themselves in their own communities, but have been trained how to help communities that have been hurt by gun violence. And they go and walk with them through a year or two. They make a 2-year commitment to work with these communities. So at first the film was going to be about this team. But the more we got into it and the more that we were exposed to just how the layers that go into this.
The numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
You have to, you think about it, you have to treat it as this kind of a thing. 30,000 people every year in the United States of America, about 100,000 wounded or injured or impacted in some way, right? So where do we find the film once it's finished with the circuit? We want to do as many screenings. I promised the folks that we've worked on this for quite a few years now, and everybody I talked to said, get this out there, share the story, we want our voice to be heard, and we're going to share it as widely as we can. So I think we're going to make it available on Vimeo for people to see and download and use. What's a good thing to talk about? How long, people, documentary, you just go out and do some interviews and shoot some B-roll and slap it together. No, it doesn't work that way. This is something that gestates for a long time.
2010.
2010? How, and physically the shooting and the editing, what was the process like?
Yeah, I think we had gone through some versions and efforts to try to get a narrative that was really in the space that we wanted, which is really trying to find a meeting point of what would you say was common sense. No one here is. We're not bringing this to the table to get rid of guns in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no.
This is a space where we're saying, look at the level of injury. Look what's going on. We have a problem. We have a health problem. If you had a product, let's say a car, that was causing this kind of problem, there would be regulation of some sort on it.
There would be regulations and criminal charges.
Exactly.
So looking at it as a public health issue, really. because it is. And when you talk about over 30,000 people being killed, I mean,
We're talking about a public health crisis, and what we don't talk about is that the trauma
Right.
that ripples through the community and through.
And the film is Trigger: The Ripple Effect of Gun Violence. This is your second BIFF, your third,
Yes.
and you have another film screening as well
Yep.
tomorrow.
Yep. Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw. How's the experience so far? How's it compared to last year?
I love this festival. This is one of my favorite festivals, and it's the community and the way that people come out. And not only do they come out, but they want to talk about the film and talk about the issues that. And art films are always about touchy or deep issues that require a lot of conversation, and people are into it and want to talk about it. And I really appreciate that, and I think that this is one of the best festivals.
The audience is engaging. They really like to talk. You're right. They really like to. And at we're taping this just after 9:30 in the morning, and the theater's 3/4 full for student animation. So
Right.
it's pretty enthusiastic. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Get more at BufordFilmFestival.com. Dig into the archives of the past film festivals at LowCountryWeekly.com, and we'll see you next time.